No, you're not taking out anything.
We are mandated by the BM Council to make this press conference. Now, as far as Lee Zii Jia is concerned, we received the resignation letter from Lee Zii Jia on 11 January 2022. Since his resignation letter, many concerted efforts were made by us through several informal discussions with Lee Zii Jia to reconsider his decision. However, was not successful. Lee Zii Jia stood by his decision and he gave the following reasons. Firstly, he said that he cannot stand the pressure of being in the national squad. And secondly, he said that the lifestyle in the Academy Badminton Malaysia is a regimented lifestyle, and he found it very difficult. Now, during one of the discussions with the committee, Zii Jia submitted fresh terms to continue his career with BAM. Following a thorough deliberation, BAM reached the decision to reject those terms. And also, as per the terms of his contract, after much difficult deliberation, BAM had to reach a decision to not register Lee Zii Jia for any international tournaments for a period of 2 years, effective from 18 January 2022. And therefore, we take the position that Goh Jin Wei also does not want to be part of the National Training Center in BAM, and we reach a decision not to register her for any international tournaments for a period of 2 years, effective 31st October 2022. So the summary of it all, 2021 in the past. So the summary of it all is this. The summary is that both of these players, they have major difficulty in deciding what to do, but if they had already decided to leave the association, despite having spoken to them, raised various issues, including counter offers, including also the fact that this is national service, and if we don't leave, we can't do anything about it. Nevertheless, BAM, being an institution, has its own process. All players are contracted, and in their contract, we have clause 7. Clause 7 of the contract allows BAM to mete out several punitive measures in the event they want to leave the National Training Center. Now, one thing was I must clarify is this. There's a lot of reporting that Zii Jia resigned, Jin Wei resigned. There's no such thing as resignation in the scheme of things. In the scheme of BAM, we have a National Training Center. When we say National Training Center, you're talking about a lot of investments, you're talking about sports science, you're talking about physiotherapy, you're talking about the entire ecosystem. You're talking about BAM being a center where we pluck out young people, put them in this ecosystem, and the only choice that you have is withdraw. You can withdraw from the national training system, you can. That is provided for under the contract. But if you do so, there are various punitive measures, among which is not to register for the next 2 years. Jaga, does that answer your question? Yeah, that's what it means.
So they can't play, they cannot play any.
They are not registered. Right? If they are playing in tournaments, it requires the registration of BAM as a governing body in Malaysia, then we say that since you're not interested to begin with, we are not registering you. Andai katalah mereka membuat rayuan, dan mereka masih boleh buat rayuan seperti mana yang telah berlaku pada pemain sebelum ini. So jika rayuan itu dibuat, dan rayuan itu berdasarkan terma-terma yang munasabah sebagai contoh, dan juga mengambil kira kepentingan negara, maka kemungkinan besar mereka dapat main dalam sukan-sukan tersebut. Tapi kalau sebaliknya lah. Jadi kita akan lihat apakah yang akan berlaku. Tapi pada peringkat ini masih ada ruang dan peluang untuk mereka kembali berkhidmat kepada negara. Because that is actually the feeling of almost all the council members, especially the president. Now obviously we feel extremely sad. If you know the story of badminton in this country, in the last few years it was always Dato' Lee Chong Wei, and there we are trying very hard to build new talent. And here we have a sprouting, budding talent in the name of Lee Zii Jia and a few others. Now when you have such a talent which produce, and we want them to be inspiring examples to other players as well, So when this thing happens, of course, there's a lot of things that BAM, as a governing body, has got to do, and the disappointment is there, but we've got to move on. Now we have to ensure that the existing players are not discouraged by this. We have to ensure that the sponsors are not discouraged by this, because we require the sponsorships. Because, you know, I think we all know this, that BAM is much bigger than any single player. It is in national interest. And therefore, the quest to train world-class leaders must go on beyond this. So this could be a temporary setback on one hand. On the other hand, this could be a very inspiring and encouraging moment for us to realize that there are other people who can step into the shoes of Lee Zii Jia and the rest. So we cannot just look at the negative side of things. You know, as I say, the water fills its own level. Right? At the end of the day, in many aspects of life, it's all about perceptions. Yeah, so there's a perception that when a player, you've brought him up to a certain level, and then you win a certain medal, and then he goes out, then this may leave the perception that other players can do the same. Now we got to seriously ask this question. Those who are interested in badminton and responsible citizens in this country got to ask this question. Do we want to commercialize sports to an extent where national interest takes a back seat to narrow personal commercial interest? But that's where we're heading now. So we have to find that balance between the two. And that, I hope BAM is doing the right thing. You know? So to answer the second part of the question is that we have to ensure that the other players are motivated instead of demotivated by what's happening. That's again our challenge as well. You know, we have to shift the entire mindset.
So as such, how do you plan to do that in the future to ensure that these players are, behind the ultimate decision?
Okay, there are many angles. It's a good question again. There are many things that we've got to do, and we already, the council already decided to sit down again to look at various measures to prevent such a thing happening or to manage such a thing happening. But one of the things, of course, as a lawyer I'm telling you, is we have to relook at our contract so that the contract, while taking care of the interests of the players, it also safeguards national interest, because a lot of money is invested in it, a lot of time is invested in it, a lot of aspirations is invested in it as well.